it takes me to Sacred Games.
Jesus.
It's unbelievable. Was it a tough decision to do what CUCKOO did in that web series? What did it take you to say yes to that? How quickly did that happen? Did you think about it? What drove you?
So there are two aspects to it. The first is that no one's ever asked me about the journey of CUCKOO and not about Kubbra. So CUCKOO has its own journey as a character. For me, I think this character spoke about survival back in the day. It spoke about ambition. It spoke about the will to survive, the will to fight, and not be ashamed of who she is as a person. So the anatomy of CUCKOO was of a man, but her conviction was so strong that she wanted to be her. She wanted to be addressed as the most beautiful woman in the room. And that's the kind of confidence that CUCKOO spoke of as a character. So I think that's what drew me as Kubbra to grasp that opportunity. But more importantly, you know me as, through the journey of being an anchor. And every single time I did something small, something which was a hit and a miss, I always believed that's going to change my career or the trajectory of my career, right? And again, for me, at this juncture where I was, it was very simple. It was like, there's work and there's no work. So I'd rather go for work, which is substantial, and just the kind of benefits it brought around it, around the periphery, the kind of people I was associating myself with. I was associating myself with the Anurag Kashyap.
Right.
It was the biggest production house at that point of time who was making this show. It was the biggest platform for OTT or the web-based shows that we are talking about, being Netflix. And then there is this crazy, charismatic human being that we all love called Nawazuddin Siddiqui, who I was going to share screen, space, and time with. And for me, that was more than enough to say yes. And honestly, I did not know what CUCKOO brought to the table at that time, because the minute I heard, yes, you're doing this role, the first thing I did is walk up to Tidal Waves and bought the book. I went through the glossary of characters and there was no CUCKOO. So I called Anurag. I said, Anurag, there is no CUCKOO. He's like, book phek de. I'm like, book phek de means isn't this a show from the book? And he says, yeah, tu nahi hai, magar tu hai. I'm like, dude, this is truly magical, some sort of a mystical character that you've created. He's like, do you trust me? I'm like, I don't know you. How do you trust someone you don't know? He said, just trust me. All I need you to do is bring yourself and bring your most comfortable self. The minute you feel discomfort, everybody else, and a set, as you know, has about 100 people working, right? From the light man to,
right,
the director, to the assistants, to everybody. There are 100 people. He said, if you feel uncomfortable, you make the 100 people around you uncomfortable.
Now, I'm going to interject here. There was the image of the real Kubbra Sait, and there is the character you play. Did you at any point in time figure that one might have a ramification on the other because of the explicit character, explicit scenes around the character?
No, I mean, the choice of taking up the job was very simple, work or no work. But then I honestly started unraveling a lot about myself while I was playing CUCKOO. So that's where, that sense of complimenting yourself comes in. The sense of owning who you are comes in. The sense of, being unapologetic in front of the camera comes in. All of that is an extension of who I am. So CUCKOO, if you look at it in the broader sense, is an extension of who I am, because you've seen the journey that, I've led over the last decade or so. I have never been apologetic about a decision I've made. Whether it was me playing a maid in the first film I ever acted in, or this role that defined my career and kind of changed it.
That kind of answers what was in my mind, because I was obviously following you like many other millions of Indians and, people from outside.
He likes my Instagram posts, okay?
I do.
I blush every time they Brian Tellis won, like this photo.
Stop it. There was a lot of criticism.
Of course.
A lot of criticism. Now, what really came across to me, a larger sense of maturity than I have seen in very many people. I think you
It's age.
grew bigger than ego. You grew bigger than.
Age. It doesn't
Tell
have
us about
age.
it. Tell us about it. I mean, did that come easy to you?
So yes, of course, like there's a time when you read a message, you just go like, no man, not again. Like what the hell? Like really, what is this human being thinking? I mean, just because you have a keypad, nobody would know where you send this message from or who you are. You can just throw anything because there are no ramifications, right? When you
True.
speak to anybody. And also what's happened is with the social media world that you live in, they believe they own you. They believe they can say anything to you. You know, you would never say that to somebody to their face. If you can say it to their face, then you say it on social media. If you can't, then think twice before writing it. But that's what I got. So there were two aspects to it. One, in the larger perspective, the larger spectrum of media and press, there was nothing but praise. There was nothing but support. But of course, there is like a smaller segment of people who thought they were trying to be cute,
Yeah.
or trying to strike a conversation by asking me, oh ma'am, are you really she-male? Like, my reaction to that used to be like, just go and check out the history of Instagram. I've been on it for the last 4 years. Take a look and tell me, do you believe I'm an actor or I am the person you see? So what I felt was there was wisdom that was lacking in certain people who tried to, you know, reach out for my attention. That's the way I looked at it. Of course, there were times when I was like, I want to be angry and I want to lash out at you. But then there is this thing that you draw or you learn being in the public space. You know, you need to have two faces.
Huge respect.